Okay, guys. Hi. My second tutorial for Tav's custom backstory and dialogue maker. It is a tool for making dialogue mods for Baldur's Gate 3. This is my second tutorial because this is a pretty major update to the actual program. Um, so if you guys don't know what this program does, basically it generates custom flavor text for all the dialogue in Baldur's Gate. Doesn't actually do all the dialogue yet, because I'm still cataloging all the dialogue in the game. But it gets a lot of the dialogue in the tutorial and kind of early Act 1 right now. Um, but yeah, you can see whenever you make custom dialogue, it actually builds custom dialogue based off like your character's backstory. So it has a very nice GUI where you can choose between simple or detailed backstory mode. Most of you are going to want detailed backstory mode. Um, Pretty much everyone was asking for multiple models. So instead of just generating this with GPT-4 Turbo to add 3.5, so 3.5 is now an option, as well as the more expensive GPT-4. Um, so when you're on detailed backstory, you can input your character's name, you can input their gender, their age, their race, their class, their background. You got a section to describe your character's childhood, what their D&D alignment is, why were you in Baldur's Gate. You can grow up in Baldur's Gate still, but or you could give yourself a specific reason for being there. This is the most important one. This is where you actually describe how you talk, like your accent, how you describe yourself. And this section here is to enter like a detailed backstory about like who your character is. Um, this last box here is for your OpenAI API key. You will need to get your own API key. You guys can sign up for an API key and use that to begin generating dialogue. Um, so a few people asked me about what these two buttons were, because I kind of explained what contextual dialogue was in my last tutorial, but I didn't explain what the self-reflective dialogue was. So during the game of Baldur's Gate, occasionally you get a chance to talk about yourself, like when talking to Shadowheart, will ask, like, tell me a little bit about yourself, or the Myconids will ask about your childhood. So this will generate just the lines of dialogue for those sections. So if you just want to play with like a custom backstory, but you're like otherwise happy with the way the dialogue looks, this is the option for you. Also, if you're generating on a budget, this is the option because this replaces far fewer lines. Um, this is actually going to generate all the contextual dialogue from the backstory, and this is all other dialogue. So this is basically what most people are going to want. If you're like looking to generate dialogue when you're like talking to us, you want to have like custom dialogue. Okay, so that's what this program does. Now, what I've done as of this 1.6.1 update is the file size is a lot bigger, but it's actually an executable file. So if you preview the contents here, you can see that it's got a folder called build, a folder called dis, and a spec. But gone is the Python script. Now you've got an executable file, which is rather big, but yeah. So once you've got your executable file, you just download this. Download this. You're gonna see this here. You'll get a RAR file, which will have Tav's custom background. It should have build. You don't need to think about anything in there. And it should have dis. This should have backup, unpacked mods, BG3 custom dialogue, Tav's custom backstory, and dialogue.exe. And then the last thing you should have is the spec file. What you want to do is you want to just drag the actual file.
So you should have a new icon here, which should be Tav's custom backstory. New folder here. And so when you go into it, you should be able to see build and dis. What you want is actual dis, and then you just want Tav's custom backstory.exe. Just go ahead and run that. And whenever you run that, you should see this black box open. And this black box will sit here for maybe a minute or two. It's just going to install everything that it needs to generate the actual custom dialogue, all the open API stuff.
Once it has taken its second to load, though, you will have this appear. And like I said, most people are going to be interested in doing a detailed backstory. So let's say I want to play a character, and let's say I want to play like Squidward, and Squidward is male. Let's say Squidward's 35. His race in D&D is going to be a human. He's a bard because I mean the clarinet, and yeah, I'm gonna say he's like he's like a he's like a hermit. Nah, not really. Uh, it's more like an urchin. All right. So now what you can do is you can basically actually input what you want your character's childhood to be. So basically, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to make a childhood backstory for Squidward, which I think looks pretty good. I'm going to say he's true neutral. I'm going to say, why was he in Baldur's Gate? I'm going to just say SpongeBob with 3 ellipses and let that speak for itself. I'm going to say that I'm going to give it an example of how he actually speaks. So I can actually ask ChatGPT to make examples of how Squidward speaks. Real examples are good here. And then I'm going to put for my detailed backstory, I'm working at the Krusty Krab till my art career takes off. Okay. So that's Squidward. Now the next thing I need to do is actually get my OpenAI key, OpenAI API key, and I'm going to go ahead and add it. Okay, and now what I can do is I can just go ahead and test this by hitting generate the self-reflected dialogue first. It said that's a lot smaller dialogue set, so whenever I hit this, what I expect to have happen is this little like Windows terminal looking box is going to start sending in all of the OpenAI requests that we get here. So we should get some nice dialogue. Okay. And once this does the results from self-reflective, I should be able to see everything. And yeah, those look good for Squidward. And I'm going to hit accept. And again, the screen might pause for a second when I hit accept. It's because it's going to go ahead and do the XML write, which, like I said, can take a little bit because it's a big file. So then I can go ahead and generate all the contextual dialogue. Again, this does take a little bit longer. Here's a new feature. Whenever you generate the contextual dialogue, it is actually going to open and let you select what Excel file you want to generate the contextual dialogue. So now I can see here it's generating all the contextual dialogue. And just to be clear, whenever you're generating a character or whenever you're about to start, just go ahead and hit this restart button. First off, it'll tell you if all your XML stuff is set up correctly. If you can clean the XML file, then the whole program's going. If you can't clean the XML file though, with this restart button, you need to make sure your folders are structured exactly like this inside the disk. After you generate a character, you want to hit restart as well. But we'll go ahead and generate Squidward here, and then we're going to go through all the steps of actually converting this into a mod to get it into our game. So this may take a second to load. There are quite a few requests to send to OpenAI here. So Um, as far as future updates, I'm actually going to make this process work like asynchronously, so it doesn't have to take as long to generate all the dialogue. It's not generating a single line at a time. Um, yeah, I hope this helps people actually use the tool because this is really cool. It's a really great way to make mods, and sorry I didn't package this as a exe file right off the bat because uh, I just figured people would kind of have a background Python. But yeah, I really appreciate all the interest in the mod so far. Everybody, all the support has been fantastic. Okay, so I've got my results here, and yeah, these look pretty good for Squidward. Um, one thing I wanted to talk about: if your character mentions their own name, one change from a previous version is now you will see it will replace the character's name with this Jin player followed by an ID. This is to make sure that the dialogue you generate will work well with the actual game. So if I decide to generate this Squidward dialogue, but I decide to go into the game and I decide to be, you know, Squilliam. I can actually name my character Squilliam, and all the dialogue will that I've generated will still carry over. So, um, yeah, it just makes it play nice with the game's backend. But if you ever see that Jin character name, wherever your character's name is supposed, like in a line of dialogue where your character's name would be, that's why. So I'm going to go ahead and accept because all these look good. I'll first Squidward's dialogue, and then it's going to take a second. And like I said, this is going to write all this dialogue now that you've just edited and finalized into your XML file. So it'll take a second to process this. Okay, so now I think I'm good. Before I close out this program, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look inside my unpacked data, custom backstory, localization, English, english.loco.xml file. And I'm going to open it with something like Notepad++, just to make sure that all my dialogue edits really took. You guys should be fine with this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look for a rewritten line here, and I'm just going to try to, like, go here, line, go, and then control find. Let's make sure we can find our line of dialogue we added. Yes, Prudence dictated. Yep. Okay. So it means that all of our changes just worked. We've made our dialogue mod successfully. So now we actually need to package the dialogue we just made into a real mod for the game. So this is where the requirement for the export tool comes in. Just go ahead and open the export tool, get export converter tool.exe, and go ahead and go to this tab called localizations. Input a file. I'm going to do it from my desktop here. And I'm going to go to my tabs custom background dialog generator, distribute, unpack data, custom backstory, localization, english.local. That's the input file. The output file is at the same place. Just make sure to remove this line here about XML, english.local, and then hit convert. should say localization file was created successfully. Okay, and now this is your actual mod. To install the mod into your game, you just go one folder up to your English folder. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install it in your Steam Apps Common version of Baldur's Gate, the one that has a data folder. Some people ask me, how do I get there? So the easiest way to get there is on your Steam app, go to here, go to Manage, Browse Local Files. From here, it should take you directly to the folder you need. And you're going to go to Data, Localizations, and then your original folder structure is going to look like this, without any dialogue mods in them whatsoever. And you're going to take the English folder, and you're just going to drag it right here. And yeah, you've just installed the dialogue mod for Squidward. Okay, great. So that is how to use Tad's custom backstory generator. Now as an executable file. Hope that helps you guys who maybe don't have any Python background build and use the tool. Yeah, so if you just had questions about how to build and use the tool, you can kind of jump off here. But I'm going to use this second half of this tutorial to touch on how to add dialogue, or how to add dialogue to customize. Primarily what you're going to be doing is adding dialogue to this Excel file here. And this Excel file has just a few columns. It's got a column that actually holds the dialogue we're going to write. Column B holds the line number, so like what line in the XML file does this dialogue occur. You don't actually have to fill in B. B is optional. C, content ID. This is the required field. So this is how we'll actually replace a line of dialogue, is by replacing whatever is at this content ID and whatever is inside this dialogue. D, E, and F are also optional, but very useful. So it's very good for the model to know who your character is speaking to and what kind of is like the gender or appearance of the person you're speaking to. And then extra context that can surround why you're saying this line also can be useful. So like whenever you wake up to Gale and Gale's like, good evening to you too, he's saying it sarcastically. So you want to react whenever your character has a chance to be sarcastic back and say good evening to you too, but it's sarcasm. So you can tag dialogue with context to make it more robust. But how do I actually, expand this? Lizelle calls us a thrall really early in the tutorial, and that line of dialogue is not in this. And maybe I want my character to say that line a little differently. How do I edit this? So what you do is just take your Excel file and go ahead and minimize it for now, and go into your backup english.loco.xml file. And you probably want to make a copy before you do anything in here, because this is your pure backup. But make a copy and then open it in whatever XML editing tool you want. I'm going to use Visual Studio here. So what you can see is this is actually every line of dialogue that's present in the game, as well as the content UID right next to it. So, okay. So, what made you think I was a thrall? That's the line I'm going to edit. So, now that I'm back, because, what makes you think I was... Let's see. What made you think I was a thrall? Okay, so this is the line we want to edit. What I want to do is I'm going to copy and paste the actual line, and I'm going to go to my Excel file. You do not have to put these in order, so we can just add it to the bottom. What made you think I was a thrall? I can see that this was this content ID. And like I said, that's the most important bit here. And I can also go ahead and grab the line here. 200 461. Right? Yeah. Okay. And I'm talking to Dialog, who's a female. Okay. So I just added a new line. That easy. So basically, you can just kind of go through and you can, as you're playing the game, figure out whatever the line is that you don't like. Just search it here in this, find the content ID, add it to the sheet, and save it whenever you're done. And now this new line will be added and you'll get custom dialogue for this line. So this is how you expand the dialogue list. Just wanted to plug one final thing, and that's that there is actually a Google Sheet where we are attempting to collect all the dialogue that Tav can say in the game. Please do not write whatever dialogue you want your character to say here. Actually, put in just Tav's dialogue, like what the dialogue is verbatim here. But yeah, this is just a public spreadsheet. Make sure that you just write what actually Tav has a chance of saying. Also, to make this a little bit more robust, we are kind of capturing what place in the story the dialogue takes place. And this will allow for a future update to where you'll be able to kind of change your dialogue that your character speaks as you move through the different acts of the game. So, you could have your character be very frustrated during the tutorial, and then less during Act 1, and then maybe they change as a person through Act 2 and Act 3. Yeah, so please contribute to the open Google Sheet. If you guys have any more questions or anything, let me know. Thanks. Bye.